Hello my dear students, welcome to the class of biology. In today's session, I will be solving the NEET level question paper of the year 2014. So let's start with the first question. So in the first question, that is question number 91, you can see here, which one of the following shows isogamy with non-flagellated gametes? Is it sargasm or ectocarpus or eulothrix or spirogyra? So, from the chapter plant kingdom, we have discussed the reproduction which take place in some of the algae. It take place by different types of gametes. That gametes are of three types, that can be either isogamous, then anisogamous or oogamous. So, among these four options, what is the correct answer? The correct answer is option number 4, that is spirogyra is the correct answer for this question. Now let's move on to the next question. Now the next question, that is question number 92. You can see here, 5 kingdom system of classification suggested by R.H. Whittaker is not based on. There are 4 options given. First option is presence or absence of a well-defined nucleus. Second is mode of reproduction. Third is mode of nutrition. And fourth is complexity of body organization. So, in the chapter biological classifications, we have discussed about the 5 kingdom classification system which was given by R.H. Whittaker. So, among this 4 option, what is the correct answer for this question? That is the option number 1, which is presence or absence of a well defined nucleus. So, this is the correct answer for the question 92. Now the next question is question number 93. Which one of the following fungi contains hallucinogen? Examples of fungi are given in the option. Option 1 is Morchella esculenta, second is Amantia muscaria, and third is Neurospora species, and the fourth is Eustilago species. So, in the chapter plant kingdom, while discussing kingdom fungi, we have talked about some of the examples, right? But in the NCERT book, some of the examples are not given here. So, what is the correct answer for this question? That is the option number 2, which is Amantia muscaria. So, this is what? This is a poisonous mushroom. This is a poisonous mushroom and it has a compound which is psychoactive. That psychoactive compound is called as muscimol, and it shows the property of hallucinogen. So, example is option number 2. So, option number 2 is the correct answer for this question. Now, let us proceed to the next question. Now, the next question is question number 94. Archaebacteria differ from eubacteria in cell membrane structure or mode of nutrition or cell shape or the mode of reproduction. So, from the chapter biological classifications, so while discussing about the kingdom Monera, we have discussed about the differences which take place in the Archaebacteria and it differs from the eubacteria. So, what is the correct option among this? That is the option number 1, which is cell membrane structure. So, option number 1 is the correct answer for this question. Now, let us see the next question. Now, the next question is question number 95. Which one of the following is wrong about Cara? First options are given, upper oogonium and lower round antheridium. Second is globule and nuclei present on the same plant. Third is upper antheridium and lower oogonium. And the fourth is globule is male reproductive structure. So, in the chapter plant kingdom, while discussing about the algae, we have discussed about the Cara, and in your NCERT book also it is given the figure of Cara. You must have seen the diagram of this Cara. Cara is nothing but what? It is a green algae, right? It is a green algae, and if you draw the diagram of it, so this is the oogonium which is flux shaped, and this is the antheridium which is globular in structure, and it is the male part, right? And among these are some of the nodes which are present in between this. You will see the diagram in your NCERT textbooks. So, among the first and second and third options, what you can see here, the first option, it says that upper oogonium and lower round is the antheridium, that is the correct option. Second is globule and nuclei present on the same plant, that is also correct answer. Now the third is upper antheridium and lower oogonium. So if you look at the figure in your NCERT textbook, is it the correct statement? No, because globule structure is present at the lower region, that is the antheridium, and it is also called as the male part of the plant, and the female part, that is the oogonium, it is at the upper part of the plant. So option number 3 is the correct answer for this question. So option number 3 is the incorrect statement, right? So this is the correct answer for this question. Now let's see the next question. Now the next question is question number 96. Which of the following is responsible for pit formation? Markensia, Riccia, Funaria or Sphagnum? So this is a very easy question, and while discussing about the economic importance of bryophytes from the chapter Plant Kingdom, we have talked about this. So which among them is the correct answer? That is the option number 4, that is Sphagnum. So Sphagnum is the correct answer for this question. Now let's see the next question. Now the next question is question number 97. Placenta and pericarp are both edible portions in apple, banana, tomato or potato. So in the chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants, we have discussed about this topic. So placenta and pericarp, these are both edible portions in tomato, which is given in the option number 3. So option number 3, tomato, is the correct answer. Now let's move on to the next question. Now the next question is question number 98. When the margins of sepals or petals overlap one another without any particular direction, the condition is termed as vexillary, imbricate, twisted and valvate. Well, this is from the chapter Morphology of the Flowering Plants, and we have discussed about the estivation. Estivation means the arrangement of sepals and petals on the flower. So that was of 5 types. So among this 4 option, what is the correct definitions of the statement that is given in your question? That is the option number 2, which is imbricate. So option number 2, that is imbricate, is the correct answer for this question. Now let's see the next question. Now the next question is question number 99. You are given a fairly old piece of dicot stem and a dicot root. Which of the following anatomical structure will you use to distinguish between the two? Options are given here: secondary xylem or secondary phloem or protoxylem or cortical cells. So this is from the chapter Anatomy of the Flowering Plants. You can see the difference between the dicot stem and the dicot root. So among these 4 options, what is the correct answer for this question? That is the option number 3, which is protoxylem. So protoxylem is the correct answer for this question. Now let's move on to the next question. Now the next question is question number 100. Which one of the following statement is correct? First statement is the seed in grasses is not endospermic. Second statement is mango is a parthenocarpic fruit. Third statement is a proteinaceous alluvial layer is present in maize grain. And the fourth statement is a sterile pistil is called a staminode. So this is from the chapter Morphology of the Flowering Plant. So among these 4 statements, which one of them is the correct statement? That is the option number 3, which is a proteinaceous alluvial layer is present in maize grain. So that is the correct answer, while first, second and the fourth statement is incorrect statement. So question number 100 answer is option number 3. Now let's see the next question. Now the next question is question number 101. tracheids differ from other tracheary elements in having Casparian strips, or second is being imperforate, third is lacking nucleus, and the fourth is being lignified. This question has given from the chapter Anatomy of the Flowering Plants. So, in the question it has asked that tracheids differ from other tracheary elements. Tracheids, you know, that is the components of xylem tissue, right? So, among these four options, what is the correct answer of this question? That is the option number 2, which is being imperforate. So, that is the correct answer. Now, let us see the next question. Now, the next question is question number 102. An example of edible underground stem is carrot, groundnut, sweet potato or potato. So, in the chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants, there we have discussed about the modifications of stem. So, among all these four examples, which among these is the edible underground stem? That is the option number 4, which is potato. So, potato is an example of the edible underground stem. So, this is the correct answer for this question. Now, let us see the next question. Now, the next question is question number 103. Which structure perform the function of mitochondria in bacteria? Nucleoid, ribosomes, cell wall or mesosomes? So, in the chapter Cell, the Unit of Life, there we have discussed all the cell organelles components. So, among these four options, which is the structure that is present in the bacteria and it resembles with the mitochondria and perform their same function? So, option is given here. So, from these four options, the correct answer is option number 4, which is mesosomes. So, mesosome is the correct answer for this question. Mesosome, you know, that resemble the mitochondria and it performs that same functions in bacteria. So, that is the correct answer. Now, let us move on to the next question. Now, the next question is question number 104. The solid linear cytoskeletal elements having a diameter of 6 nanometer and made up of a single type of monomer are known as microtubules, microfilaments, intermediate filaments or lamins. So, in the chapter Cell, the Unit of Life, there I have discussed about the cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton that present in the cytoplasms of the eukaryotic cells, and in this there are 3 filaments are present like microtubules, microfilaments and the intermediate filaments. So, among these 4 options, what is the correct answer for this question? That is the option number 2, which is microfilaments. Microfilaments, these are the major portions of the eukaryotic cells in the cytoskeleton and it is called as the actin filaments. These microfilaments have a protein which is called as actin and thus it is called as micro or actin filament. And this actin filaments, it forms the major portion in the cytoskeleton of the eukaryotic cell. So, in the question it has asked that the solid linear cytoskeletal element having a diameter of 6 nanometer, that means the microfilaments have 6 nanometer and they are made up of a single type of monomer, which means option number 2 is the correct answer for this question. Now, let us see the next question. Now, the next question is question number 105. The osmotic expansion of a cell type in water is chiefly regulated by mitochondria, vacuoles, plastids and ribosomes. So, these are the 4 options given, and in the chapter Transport of Plants and also in the chapter Cell, the Unit of Life, we have talked about the various types of organelles. So, which among them is the correct answer? That is the option number 2, which is vacuoles. So, vacuoles are the type of cells which regulate the osmotic expansion of a cell which is kept in water. So, option number 2 is the correct answer for this question. Now let's move on to the next question. Now the next question is question number 106. You can see here, during which phase of cell cycle amount of DNA in a cell remains of 4C level if the initial amount is denoted as 2C. First is given here the options G0 and G1, second is G1 and S, third is only G2 and the fourth is G2 and M. So this question has directly given from your NCERT textbook of the chapter cell cycle and cell division. So which among these is the correct answer of this question? That is the option number 3, which is only G2 phase. So only G2 phase is the correct answer of the question number 106. Now let's see the next question. Now the next question is question number 107. Match the following and select the correct answer. In the column 1, these are given. You can see here centriole, then chlorophyll, cristae, then ribozymes, and in the column 2, all their structure and their parts are given like enfoldings in mitochondria, thylakoids, nucleic acid, and basal body, cilia or flagella. So in the chapter cell, the unit of life, we have discussed about the terms which are mentioned in column 1. So what we have to do in this question? We have to match the column 1 with the column 2 and then we have to select the correct options from the options which are given below. So after matching the column 1, you can see here centriole, it match with basal body of cilia or flagella, then chlorophyll, it match with thylakoids, then cristae, it match with enfoldings in mitochondria, and ribozyme, it is matched with nucleic acid. So this is the correctly matched answer. So which among them is the correct answer? That is the option number 1. So option number 1 is the correct answer for this question. Now let's move on to the next question. Now the next question is question number 108. Dr. F. Wendt noted that if coleoptile tips were removed and placed on agar for 1 hour, the agar would produce a bending when placed on one side of freshly cut coleoptile stump. Of what significance is this experiment? So this question is from the chapter Plant Growth and Development. So while discussing about the discovery and the functions of plant hormone, that includes the auxin, then gibberellin, we have discussed about these experiments. So in the questions we have to say what is the significance of that experiment. So let's see the options. So option number 1, it is written that it made possible the isolation and exact identification of auxin. Second is it is the basis for quantitative determination of small amount of growth promoting substances, and third is it support the hypothesis that indole acetic acid is auxin, and the fourth is it demonstrated polar movement of auxin. So which among them is the correct answer? That is the option number 1 is the correct answer, which means that the significance of that experiment is to make possible the isolation and exact identification of auxin. So option number 1 is the correct answer. Now let's see the next question. Now the next question is question number 109. Deficiency symptoms of nitrogen and potassium are visible first in senescent leaves, young leaves, roots or buds. So from the chapter Mineral Nutrition, there we have discussed about the types of different nutrients which are obtained by the plants, right? That includes the micronutrients and the macronutrients. And there we have also discussed that if the nutrients are in deficient amount, there will be some symptoms which are shown by the plants. So what is the correct answer of this question? So in this question it has asked that the deficiency symptoms of nitrogen and potassiums are visible first in senescent leaves. That means option number 1 is the correct answer for this question. Now let's move on to the next question. Now the next question is question number 110. In which one of the following process carbon dioxide is not released? Options are given. First is aerobic respiration in plants. Second is aerobic respiration in animals. Third is alcoholic fermentation, and fourth is lactate fermentation. So this is from the chapter respiration in plants. So what is the correct answer of this? That is the option number 4, which is lactate fermentation. So lactate fermentation is the process in which carbon dioxide is not released. So this is the correct answer. Now the next question is question number 111. Anoxygenic photosynthesis is a characteristic of, 4 examples are given, rhodospirillum or spirogyra or chlamydomonas or uvalva. So these are all the examples which are given. So what do you mean by anoxygenic photosynthesis? Anoxygenic photosynthesis is a process in which oxygen is not released, right? So which among these following 4 examples the oxygen is not released? That is the option number 1, which is rhodospirillum. Rhodospirillum, you know, that is the purple non-sulfur bacteria. So in the chapter mineral nutrition we have discussed about this. So these rhodospirillums are the nitrogen fixing bacteria, which are the purple non-sulfur bacteria. So these bacteria are not releasing any oxygen in their photosynthesis process. So option number 1 is the correct answer for this question. Now the next question is question number 112. A few normal seedlings of tomato were kept in a dark room. After a few days, they were found to have become white colored like albinos. Which of the following terms will you use to describe them? Options are given: mutated or embolized or etiolated or defoliated. So this is from the chapter plant growth and development. There we have discussed the varieties of disease which take place in plants due to some of the deficiencies in their nutrition, right? So what is the correct answer among this? That is the option number 3, which is etiolated. So etiolated, you can note it down from here. What is etiolation? It is a process in which flowering plants are grown in partial or complete absence of light, and they shows chlorosis, the disease which they have talked about in the question, that is the white colored like albinos. These are what? These are the chlorosis. Now the next question is question number 112. You can see here the question. A few normal seedlings of tomato were kept in a dark room. After a few days, they were found to have become white colored like albinos. Which of the following terms will you use to describe them? Options are given here: mutated or embolized or etiolated or defoliated. So in the chapter plant growth and development, we have discussed that etiolation, that means you can note it down from here. Etiolation, what does it mean? It is the growing of flowering plant in partial or complete absence of light. So among these 4 options, option number 3, that is etiolated, is the correct answer. And in this question it is written that white colored like albinos, that means the disease which is called as chlorosis. So I hope you have remembered the name of all the kind of diseases which take place because of the deficiency of certain kind of nutrients in the plants. So chlorosis was one of them. So option number 3 is the correct answer of this question. Now let's move on to the next question. Now the next question is question number 113. Which one of the following growth regulator is known as stress hormone? Hibiscus acid, ethylene, gibberellic acid or indole acetic acid. So, this question has directly come from your NCERT textbook of the chapter Plant Growth and Development. So, while discussing about the plant hormones, we have discussed all these terms which are mentioned in these options. So, which among these is the correct answer for this question? That is the option number 1, that is abscisic acid. So, abscisic acid is the correct answer of this question. Now, the next question is question number 114. Geitonogamy involves 4 options are given and you have to tick the correct answer. So, first option is fertilizations of a flower by the pollen from another flower of the same plant. Second is fertilization of a flower by the pollen from the same flower. Third is fertilization of a flower by the pollen from a flower of another plant in the same population. And the fourth is fertilization of a flower by the pollen from a flower of another plant and belonging to a distant population. So, in the chapter sexual reproductions in flowering plants, we have discussed about the kinds of pollinations, right? So, among all these 4 options, what is the correct answer? That is the option number 1, which means that geitonogamy involves the fertilizations of a flower by the pollen from another flower of the same plant. So, that is the correct answer. So, option number 1 is the correct answer for the question 114. Now, the next question is question number 115. Male gametophyte with least number of cells is present in terrace, funaria, lilium or pinus. So, this question has given from the sexual reproductions in the flowering plants. There we have discussed about the male gametophyte of the angiospermic plant, which can be either 2 to 3 cell stage of the pollen grains, right? So, which among them is the correct answer? The correct answer is option number 3, that is lilium. So, lilium is the angiosperm and it has least number of cells. So, you can write here that lilium is an angiosperm and it has least number of cells. And if you arrange all these examples in decreasing order, you can write it as first is funaria, then terrace, after that pinus and then lilium. Okay. So, this is the correct order. Now, the next question is question number 116. An aggregate fruit is one which develops from 4 options are given. First option is multicarpellary syncarpous gynoecium. Second is multicarpellary apocarpous gynoecium. Third is complete inflorescence and the fourth is multicarpellary superior ovary. Well, this question is from the chapter sexual reproductions in the flowering plants. There we have discussed about the fruits. So, in this question it has asked that an aggregate fruit is one which develops from multicarpellary apocarpous gynoecium, which is given in option number 2. So, option number 2 is the correct answer for the question number 116. Now, let us proceed to the next question. Now, the next question is question number 117. Pollen tablets are available in the market for in vitro fertilization or breeding programs or supplementing food or ex situ conservations. Well, this is a very easy question and it is also from the chapter sexual reproductions in the flowering plants. So, what is the answer? That is the supplementing food. So, option number 3 is the correct answer for this question. So, I hope you have remembered the chapter very well. Now, let us move on to the next question. Now, the next question is question number 118. Function of filiform apparatus is to recognize the suitable pollen at stigma, or stimulate division of generative cells, or it produce nectar, and the fourth option is it guide the entry of pollen tube. Well, can you answer this question? This is a very easy question from the chapter Sexual Reproductions in the Flowering Plants. So, what is the function of the filiform apparatus? That is to guide the entry of pollen tube so that the male gametes can come and fuse, one with the egg cell and another with the polar nuclei. So, option number 4, that is guide the entry of pollen tube, is the correct answer for this question. Now, let us move on to the next question. Now, the next question is question number 119. Non-albuminous seed is produced in maize, castor, wheat or pea. So, this question has given from the chapter Sexual Reproductions in Flowering Plants. So, non-albuminous seed is what? These are means the non-endospermic seed. So, non-albuminous seed means non-endospermic seed. So, among these 4 options, what is the correct answer? That is the option number 4. That is the option number 4, pea. So, pea seed is the one which are non-albuminous seed. So, this is the correct answer for this question. Now, let us move on to the next question. Now, the next question is question number 120. Which of the following shows coiled RNA strand and capsomeres? Options are given here: poliovirus, tobacco mosaic virus, measles virus or retrovirus. So, this question has given from the chapter biological classification. So, in the question it has asked that which among this following group of virus show coiled strand and capsomeres? That will be the option number 2, which is tobacco mosaic virus. So, tobacco mosaic virus is the one which are having coiled RNA strand and capsomeres. So, this is the correct answer for this question. Now, let us see the next question. Now, the next question is question number 121. Which one of the following is wrongly matched? First is transcription, and their work is writing information from DNA to tRNA. Second is translation, using information in mRNA to make proteins. And third is repressor proteins, which bind to operator to stop enzyme synthesis. And the fourth is operon, which have structural genes, operator and promoter. So, this is a very easy question and it has derived from the chapter molecular basis of inheritance. So, among these options which are given in this question, you have to correct the wrong statement. So, which among them is the wrong statement? That is the option number 1, which says that transcription, it means writing information from DNA to tRNA. Is it correct? No. So, what should be the correct answer for this? It carry the information from DNA to mRNA. That is the correct answer, right? And that is called as the transcription. Whereas the mRNA, it translates the information into the protein, and that process is called as translation. So, among these 4 options, option number 1 was incorrectly written. So, option number 1 is the correct answer for the question 121.